peeps. It's been a while since I've been on. I've been extremely busy, so I thought I would get on here today. I'm finally off. Got the whole day off, not going anywhere. So I thought I would do a little catch-up video, fill you in video. So let me get a hot beverage and we'll sit down and we'll chit-chat. I'll get right back to you. Gosh, guys, catching up is hard to do. As you can tell, I'm wearing something different. It has been several hours since I went to make my tea. Okay, my house, of course, you all know that I build it myself. So the electric, I probably could have ran things a little different than I did. And I put too much in my kitchen on one line. Well, I didn't actually put too much on the line. I try to use that area of the kitchen for too much stuff. So I had the microwave going, and I had the air fryer going, and then I decided to make that cup of tea, and it tripped the circuit breaker. So then I had to go to the basement, which we've remodeled our house, and we haven't got to the second remodel yet. So we've redid our kitchen, which is where our basement steps used to be, and we eliminated those, and we put an island over top of where the step access used to be. And we're going to put a spiral staircase in our library going down into the foyer in the basement. Haven't got that done yet. So to get to the basement at this point in time, you have to go out of the house and around. So with all this thaw, I mean, it was wind chills of -30 2 days ago, and today it's 58 degrees. So everything is muck. Of course, I slipped in the mud. Oh, my Lord. I did not get hurt at all in any way, shape, or form. But I had to come in and take off that muddy outfit and change it. And then in that time frame, I got company. You know, I'm only home. I've only been home a couple days. Well, I was only home a couple days in January, because even if I wasn't at work, I was occupied with other things. So to actually be home, I was only home a couple days. So when people know I'm home, they come out to visit. So anyway, so I've had company since that time, but I finally am getting my cup of tea. And I made myself some mandarin orange oolong from Tavania. This stuff is like heaven in a cup. And it's the last I have. I have been hoarding it. I had bought half a pound quite a while ago, and I've been using it very sparingly, and finally today I used the last of it, and I'm like, oh, I want to cry, because, oh, we've got a lot of catching up to do, peeps, let me tell you. 2018 was rough. I had a lot of deaths in 2018. I've been to a lot of funerals. Wee got attacked, a lot of issues. My husband wrecked the Jeep. I mean, there's been a lot in 2018. And I had vowed that 2019 was going to be better. And we rolled into 2019 pretty shitty, as you guys can tell from my last video. And it's been, well, tomorrow will be 4 weeks since I've posted a video. Martisa's funeral was on the 7th. And I'm pretty sure tomorrow's going to be 4 weeks since I posted a video. So in that time, I've had a lot of stress. I noticed that I had been letting things slide towards the end of the last part of 2018, the last few months, November, December. Scott was in the hospital. I was in the hospital. And, of course, we got those financial bills hitting us, for the medical bills, because you've got the hospital bill, the pathology bill, the doctor bills, anybody that talked to you, any department that saw you. It's a whole separate bill. And we don't have health insurance, so it's just like snowballing. Everything's just sort of snowballing on me. And so it's been a pretty stressful January. My channel name is Sandyslosinit. A lot of people just assume that was talking about my weight loss journey, but I have actually had that name, Sandyslosinit, as my email address for quite some time, because I used to tell people, however you want to take it. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my sanity, losing my grip on reality. I'm losing weight. I'm losing my health issues. Right now, I'm losing my money. So I've got to change that to mean Sandy's losing her debt. Yeah, so Sandy's losing it, and that means Sandy's going to be debt-free by the end of 2019. I have been under so much stress just in the last few weeks because of debt. It was probably about the 10th. I decided, I haven't balanced my register on my bank account in quite a while. I need to sit down and do that. And my monthly expenses are always the same. So that's why I never worry about balancing my checkbook or register. We don't write checks anymore. Use that stupid debit card. But I never worry about balancing it because it's always the same. I know what my income is and I know what my outflow is. And it just, well, with the medical and the deductible for the car accident, the broken windshield, my dad hit the rock through the back of the windshield or the back of the window in the Jeep. That had to be replaced in the spring last year. So there was a lot of things that I hadn't factored in that was ticking away at that checking account. Well, I balanced my checkbook. Thank God I balanced it when I did. Balanced it, and I only had $6 left in my account. And I had things coming in that day. My trash bill was coming in that day, and my insurance was coming out that day. So it was like, oh my goodness. So I share a savings account that's connected with my checking account with my father. So all the money in that savings account belongs to my dad. But I got on my phone and I transferred over $300 to cover those couple of things, and then called him up and told him about it, which I was getting paid. This was a Wednesday. I was getting paid on Friday anyway. So I was able to put it back. But if I hadn't went ahead and transferred it, I'd have had a bounce fee for my bank and those businesses. So we're looking at $120 in fees because I wasn't paying attention. And that would have been the first time in my life that I've ever bounced anything. So it freaked me out. And I really got to thinking about, oh my goodness, I've let so much go in 2018. I used to be such a responsible on it when it come to financials. We never was ahead. We always lived paycheck to paycheck, but we were never in debt. We were never behind the 8th ball like it was last couple weeks ago. So I told my husband, I said, we've got to rein it in. We've got to get a budget going. We've got to stick to it. Well, in 2018, a lot of things that I wasted my money on was planner supplies. I had gotten a happy planner at the end of 2017 for 2018, and those things are so addictive. You're getting the stickers and the dashboards and the accessories and the expansion packs, and you're just buying so much. And I end up having this little tower just full of planner supplies. And then on top of that, when you go into Michael's or you go into Hobby Lobby, things are on clearance. So I ended up buying from Michael's this Jane Davenport undated. I bought this last year, this Jane Davenport undated planner, and it was on clearance for $7. So I got that with no intention of like, when am I going to use it? I didn't know. I just liked it. I wanted it. It is gorgeous. I wanted it, so I bought it. Clearance. I'm not going to pass up something $7. And it's undated. I figured I could use it whenever in the future. Well, I will tell you right now, for 2019, I had already bought myself another happy planner. So there, I didn't need this one. And I had already bought another planner from, it was from, what is that? Cracker Barrel. So it looks like a recollections planner. It's set up just like that with the spiral and all that and the vertical layout. And if you opened it and the way it was laid out, you just would think it was a recollections. If, I didn't know that I had bought it from Cracker Barrel. So I have that already for 2020. And then I go into Hobby Lobby, and they have on clearance for $10 this Agenda 52. And I've got undated inserts in it. So here it is, the first month into 2019, and I'm already 4 planners ahead for the next however many years. So I was like, okay, you have gotten out of control with spending, and you've let yourself self-care slip. And you know how I've always talked about self-care and how important that is. And I've let that slip. And you guys know I've been battling hives since November. And I just kept thinking it had to be food related, food related, food related. So I'd change up my diet and eliminate stuff, and they seemed to go away. And then they would come back. And so I really thought a couple weeks ago that I had put my finger on it. When we came with the financial crisis of only $6 left in our account, of course, we couldn't buy any more groceries. We had to just go with what we had in the pantry and the freezer, which was just chicken bouillon, meat, and celery. That's all we had. And I was like, okay, that's all we're going to eat. So for a week, that's all we had was meat and celery. And sometimes I'd cook chicken into a pot with a lot of stock, put celery in there and chicken soup. Yeah, that's it. I mean, but it's enough to offer you sustenance and get you by. So that's what we did. Well, during that time, my weight started dropping dramatically, and calorie wise and macro wise, I was where I should be, but the weight was dropping and the hives was gone. And I was like, it's dairy. That's what's causing all these hives. I've developed an intolerance to dairy because I had overeaten in the dairy department like you wouldn't believe, guys. I was of that mindset. If it fit my macros, it was good to go. And I was having 3 and 4 ounces of cheese a day, cream cheese, then heavy whipping cream, sour cream. But I was having cheese, 2 and 3 different types of serving of cheese with each and every meal that I ate, and really overboard on the dairy. So I thought, okay, this is it. I'm eliminating dairy and I've got these hives beat. But I'd thought that with the artificial sweeteners, and it wasn't that. So I really thought I had it beat. One day I went to a doctor's appointment with one of my individuals, and they have a free coffee bar. So while you're waiting in the waiting room, you can go up, and they got the Keurig sitting there, and then they got heavy whipping cream and half, and a French vanilla creamer or something. But they got all, she's really got this bar laid out. And so I made myself a cup of free coffee, and it was the first dairy that I had had in a week, and I didn't even think about it. I just put a splash of that heavy whipping cream in there. And within an hour, I was broken out in hives so bad. And I was like, okay, that's it. It definitely proves that it's the dairy. Well, since then, a few other issues have come up and eliminated the dairy again, but still got hives. So I'm like, what is going on? And I started thinking back. The doctor had mentioned that it could be a stress response, but I've always thought I handled stress really, really well, but obviously not. And I'm getting to where this is my reaction to a stress response. So I was thinking about that day at the doctor when I was having the cup of coffee with the dairy that I hadn't had for a week. At that same time, though, I was arguing with the receptionist. There was a piece of paperwork that she should have accepted that she kept saying she couldn't. And it was just, she just didn't know, but she could. And it was frustrating me. And I was getting frustrated and irritated and extremely stressed. So I think what it is it's a stress response. So I started paying attention. And even anytime I get just slightly irritated or agitated, even if it's not a full breakout, I'll get an itchy spot someplace. And then if I'm over the top agitated, it's from my head to the bottom of my feet. So it's nothing I can control through food. So I'm going to have to do what that doctor said and be on those antihistamines for probably the rest of my life, which is like, wow, that's irritating. But I've been taking them steady since I sort of figured, okay, maybe he's right, and it is a stress response. Taking them steady every single morning, and I haven't really had much except for, like I said, areas where I feel myself get really stressed, and then I'll go take another one, and it goes away within just a half hour or so. So I do got the hives figured out, so it's probably something I'm just going to have to deal with. And then financially, I have been listening to that Dave Ramsey and Rachel Cruz and really have got a game plan for myself. When I'm saying I'm in debt, it's not, compared to a lot of people, it's nothing. I have my Jeep payment and credit card debt. And between the two of those, it equals $7,000. But it's just enough that it takes $700 of my income just to pay those two bills where I feel like I'm getting ahead, because I don't want to pay the minimum on the credit card or you'll never get ahead. So I pay $700 a month on those two bills trying to get ahead with them. And I realized that that takes a lot out of my and Scott's budget. So I've been listening to them, and I've got a game plan for what I'm going to do over the next year so that when I enter 2020, I will at that point in time be debt free. And just that has really taken up a lot of the stress. But to go back to the planners, the reason I started talking about those planners is because I decided, since I have all those, I need to make use of them. So I turned this one into a budget planner. No more waiting till the last minute to bring up my register and see where my account's at. At the end of every night, I started this 2 weeks ago. At the end of every night, I've been sitting down, writing down every penny that we spent and bringing it up to date. And I have put us on a no spend February. So that means if I'm out of something, I'm out, unless it's 100% necessity to life. But like, I'm out of coffee right now, and I'm almost completely out of tea. When it's gone, it's gone. I am not buying anymore because that is not a necessity. So I've really trimmed our spending. It's put a hurt on my husband because he's a pop drinker every day, where I could do without it. It doesn't matter to me, but he goes to town. He drives to town every morning to get a Polar Pop, and then he drives back to town every night to get a Polar Pop. They're 63 cents is how much they cost. And he goes to town twice a day. So he doesn't realize that going to town twice a day, even though he's not even spending $1.30 on himself, it's still gas. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth every day. So we've eliminated that, and it's put the hurt on me. Oh, wow. And the thing is, I'm not buying pop either because it's not a necessity. I'm only buying necessities. Now, he does have a lot of tea left because he's got his own stash of tea. But, no, I don't know. For him, when his tea's gone, it's $2.99 for a big old 100 thing at Aldi. So I will get him some more regular black tea. But my specialty teas are gone until we get ourselves under control. And then I decided with my Jane Davenport planner that I wanted, instead of just winging it with my self-care, I wanted to start planning it out and writing down what I'm doing for myself. So planning out when I'm going to give myself a manicure, planning out when I'm going to give myself a pedicure, a facial, dyeing my hair, which it doesn't look too bad. When I'm dyeing my hair, I want to write that stuff out. And yes, I know on a no spend, I do my own manicures, my own, of course, pedicures is a new thing for me since keto. I used to not be able to do that, but now I can. So, but I do that on my own. I've got the foot soak thing, and I have a whole bunch of different polishes and manicure and pedicure kit. So I do that here at home. So it doesn't cost me anything. I already got the supplies. Facial, I've already got facial creams out the wazoo that they'll go bad before I ever get a chance to use them. So that's not going to cost me anything. All that stuff's free. And the hair dye, that's where you're looking at price. But my sister owns her own salon. So sometimes she throws me a freebie, or if I go get a box color, I stock up on them when I go in to shopping with her to get supplies for her salon. Then I stock up on that stuff. So I actually have enough hair color to last me probably way past 2020. So none of that stuff I'm going to have to put any money into, but I do want to start keeping track because I've been letting it slip. I've been not being too kind to myself, just not paying attention to it. And I want to get back to a more mindful state like I used to be. And I need to get back that attitude of gratitude. Even though things can be stressful and things are happening, I need to get back to where I'm being grateful for what I got and making a conscious effort every night to think about that. So that's what's going on with me. It's been a lot, and I've been all over the place, and we got a couple new staff hired in, and they are doing their trainings now. So I'll probably have another about 2 weeks of major overtime, and then it's going to cut back. And I can see by the end of February where I'll be back on my standard schedule, and we should be back up to normal with postings. So just know that I'm not just going to be talking about keto and weight loss. I'm going to start talking about everything that I'm losing. I'm losing the stress. I'm losing the financial burden, the debt, along with the health problems and the weight loss. So Sandy's losing it all. I am pulling it into shape. I am getting my whole well-being back together. Got to rein it in. Got to make 2019 a better year than what 2018 was, which I know a lot of that stuff wasn't anywhere way for me to control it, but I could control my response to it. And it just started to snowball where one bad thing after another bad thing after another bad thing. I wasn't even getting a chance to recover before something else occurred. And because I wasn't having a good mindset and wasn't having an attitude of gratitude and realizing where I was truly at in my life, I sort of let my mental state and my stress snowball out of control. So got to get control of that. Got to realize things can happen. That doesn't necessarily mean I need to let it affect me internally and ruin my mindset where I'm breaking out in hives from head to toe. I mean, yeah, 2018 was a bad year. So we're working on 2019. And here I am just rambling. I'm sorry, y'all. This is, I'm sure, going to be a long video. But I'm not sure when I'm going to be back on here again. So I wanted to get you caught up with everything. Oh, let's talk about my weight loss. Where am I at in the 10-pound challenge? I am down to 197.6. I started the 10-pound challenge at 201.2. So I'm not 100% sure where Joni's sitting at right now, or Melanie, aka Princess Ninja. But I think they're both about where I'm at, sort of like at the halfway point and sort of teeter-tottering right there. The last time I seen either one of their videos. I'll admit I've not been able to watch too much YouTube because it's been, I went to work, I don't even know what day. Anyway, it's been, don't get me wrong, I love my job. I absolutely love my job. I wouldn't be able to do this if I didn't love what I do for a living. And this overtime is only going to help me financially, so I don't mind that either. Almost hate the thought of losing it, but at the same time I need to start spending more time with my husband, and I need to be back on here more on a regular basis. I started this channel for accountability, and that's in all areas of my life. So that's why I've decided to go ahead and put my financial information on here, and the fact that we're struggling a little bit, but we're getting control of it. Alrighty, guys, I'm going to let you go. I'm not sure when I'll talk to you again, but you have a great week, a great month, and blessings.